Good morning, everybody. In the next 15 or 20 minutes, I'm going to share with you some of the key findings from brand new research about post-millennial shoppers. For our research, post-millennials are aged 18 to 25, born between 1992 and 1999. They're the first to have grown up in the millennium period. And they've always lived in a connected world. Technology at their fingertips, and they've grown up in the new millennium. The likes of YouTube, Facebook, and iPhone were all kind of starting out. So why do post-millennials matter so much? Well, as an industry, the food industry has a relatively limited understanding of the motivations and shopping behaviour of this key group. Let's face it, many of us, a majority of us today, are not aged 18 to 25. Therefore, it's difficult to have a complete understanding of this key group. And those shoppers differ from older adults in many of their attitudes and behaviours, and it reflects the dramatic social and technological changes that we've seen since the turn of the century. Therefore, it's absolutely key to adapt strategy to meet their needs, because these are going to be the shoppers that will determine the success or failure for many businesses in the years ahead. So the key to future-proof your business to meet the growing demands of post-millennials who do expect better products, better prices, more product diversity, and improved services, along with wanting meaningful experiences and inspiration. Now, in 2017 in the UK, 18 to 25s represent just under 7 million out of a total population of 65 million. Though relatively small in number now, by 2050 they're going to be aged in their 50s, and their reach of their network is going to be a lot wider, and they're going to influence their children, and their children's children, as well as all friends and relatives. So in total, they're going to influence around 60 million people in the UK alone, 3 in 4 of the population. So therefore, it'll become even more crucial to understand the shopping behaviours of generations to come. Now, these are some of the shoppers we interviewed for our research. We do a lot of robust research as part of our Shopper Vista service. This is that we had an online community running for a week. We had a smartphone survey amongst shoppers. We had our cut of our Shopper Vista data where we interviewed 1,700 shoppers every single month, and we cut that by different age groups, and we did accompanied shopping trips. I'm going to share with you some key results. Firstly, looking at how priorities of post-millennials differ significantly from older generations. Then looking at the opportunities for brands to really stand out and future-proof your business, focusing on brand differentiation, innovation, and educating shoppers. And finally, how to tailor strategy to meet the needs of post-millennials when it comes to the role of online, digital, and stores of the future. My colleague Vanessa is going to talk a bit more about that afterwards. So saving time is particularly important to post-millennial shoppers. They claim to be particularly time poor. They're more likely to choose their food and grocery store that they can get in and out of quickly, as you can see here. As one shopper told me, they said they have a hectic life and I want to get in and out as fast as possible from the store to get everything done in time. And they do have specific preferences in terms of where they like to shop. We see much less use of larger stores for the post-millennials. They complain to us about the excessive time spent in these larger stores, having trouble finding goods and spending more time than average on finding those products. One shopper told me, it's a little daunting in these big shops. It's very complex, to be honest with you. What do they want? Well, they want better rewards for loyalty, higher quality products in these larger stores, and nicer store environments. It's about looking at the whole shopping journey in these larger stores through the post-millennial shopper's eyes and ask yourselves, is it really as convenient as it possibly can be? What they do like to do is they like to save time by shopping more in the smaller convenience stores. As many as 1 in 5 say that they do the majority of their shopping in convenience stores. In London, it rises to 1 in 4. And this is more than double the number of those aged 26 plus. It's definitely influenced by younger shoppers' preference for little and often shopping and smaller basket sizes. They're more likely to mainly use Tesco Express, Sainsbury's Local. As one shopper told me, if I'm travelling to somewhere like Tesco Express, which is near a train station, I'll go in there and get a meal deal and some snacks. They're also more likely to walk to stores than older shoppers. So it's about adapting your multi-channel strategy and ask yourself, do your product ranges in convenience stores appeal to these shoppers? and they're looking for any opportunity to save time in store. Approaching half often use gondola ends to pick up items. This shopper went into their Tesco Express store on Pancake Day, picked up some items from the end of aisle to make their pancakes. It's also about saving time buying from the tills. They're more likely to do that than average. And also technologies are also helpful and are widely used by post-millennials. Around 3 in 4 often use self-checkouts and half often use self-scanners. So it's really about focusing on clear segmentation and signage to make the categories easier and quicker to shop. Help these shoppers to get around the store through the checkouts more efficiently. It may encourage them to linger for longer at your category. But it's also about saving time in terms of buying products that save them time. So for example, 7 in 10 often buy pre-prepared foods in jars, tins or packets. This is an example posted by one of our online community responders of a pasta sauce which they thought offered good value for money, better taste and convenience, and they said it made the meal preparation a lot quicker for them. More than half often buy pre-cut products. This is even extending to pre-crushed garlic. This helped the shopper to save time peeling it and chopping the ingredients, which they found was a bit of a faff. I don't find it too hard myself, anyway. 6 in 10 often buy pre-prepared meals. This rustless burger was actually one example. And 4 in 10 often buy meal kits. So it's about providing product solutions and formats that help these shoppers save more time. For example, pre-cut products, meal kits. And it also extends to the actual meals they're having at home. So so basically the majority, 68%, often spend less than 30 minutes cooking an evening meal. And this is an example from BuzzFeed, a favourite source of information for recipes for post-millennials. Approaching half often miss breakfast and buy en route. They tell me they have limited time in the morning. This is an example of a product that they bought, a breakfast bar on-the-go solution. And around half often save time by cooking and in bulk, freezing for food and groceries for the week ahead. So it's about communicating time-saving benefits, one key way to drive consideration among shoppers who do not currently buy into your category. And the good news is they're willing and able to pay a premium for convenient shopping and also for convenient products. They place a higher value on these than older shoppers. So are you providing convenient solutions to post-millennial shoppers, and do you have an understanding of what makes these products convenient? They also differ in terms of the missions that they conduct. This chart shows you the missions conducted on the last trip. And you can see here that food to go, they're more likely, 30% of them say they did that on their last trip, compared to older shoppers, 13%. This is an example of a food to go meal deal purchased by one of the post-millennials. Also, evening meals is something where they over-index for. And they're less likely to conduct, oops, sorry, go back one. And they're less likely to conduct their main shop and top-up shops. These are missions that are more likely to be conducted amongst those with children. They're more likely to conduct a health and beauty shop online, and more likely to conduct a non-food shop in variety discounters, the likes of Poundland and Poundworld, B&M Bargains. So it's about how to generate more sales from different missions from post-millennials. And channel plans will need to be adapted to take account of changing shopper missions. The majority of post-millennials don't plan their evening meal, 62%, and that's higher than older shoppers. They also have a preference for evening meals that actually save them time. They're more likely to use a combination of ready prepared and raw ingredients compared to older shoppers. Therefore, there's a significant opportunity to influence these shoppers both pre-shop and in-store. It's about inspiring shoppers with easy meal solutions that are regularly updated to suit their little and often shopping style. Okay, my second area is looking at the opportunity for brands to stand out, looking at brand differentiation, innovation, and educating shoppers. The great news for brands here today is that post-millennials love brands. They particularly represent better quality than own label compared to older shoppers, and they feel that they have more of an emotional attachment to well-known brands and older shoppers. They're less likely to be supporters of own label, and their main gripe with food discounters is that there are not enough brands there. So what are the key features to communicate about your brand? Well, it's about reminding them about your unique selling points. The top one, according to Post Millennials, is about the better taste, including the quality, credentials, and the heritage. This is an example from Ben & Jerry's. The shopper told me they love Ben & Jerry's. They said they wouldn't buy any other ice cream. It's something that they can have, share with their friends and family. They believe that Ben & Jerry's is the best tasting ice cream around. Secondly, it's about showcasing better value for money. And thirdly, it's about having better quality, showcasing better quality ingredients. The respondent here posted a picture of Green and Blacks. They believe the high cocoa content was really good. It's seen to have the best ingredients around. It's also about the trust, showcasing the trust gained over many years while the Post Millennials have been growing up. This respondent posted a picture of Heinz. They said they'd had it their whole life. They see it was a highly reputable and trusted brand. It was a traditional feel of Heinz, the stability of the brand, which really appealed to them. And it's also about the variety of flavours, which is also another key thing to focus on. So how else can your brand stand out for Post Millennials? Well, they are twice as likely to welcome innovation. If you look at the yellow area of the pie chart here, 22% saying they'd like as many new products as possible. Compare that with 11% of older shoppers. If you combine the yellow and the blue sections of the pie chart here, you can see that overall 3 and 4 are in favour of innovation. And they're more likely to want to try new food and drink, 69% compared to 56% of older shoppers, and are more likely to want to find out about it on social media posts and online blogs. So new products, including line extensions, can add much welcome interest and variety to shopping. It's about helping to retain shopper engagement with the categories, and any innovation needs to stand out on shelf, having a lasting impact with Post Millennials. So what kind of innovation should you focus on for these shoppers? Here are some examples. 2/3 of Post Millennials love trying new flavours. They love being able to contribute to new product developments. This is an example from Starbucks, where respondents could vote for their favourite flavour online in order to win a discount. In the end, they voted caramel cocoa cluster as the best flavour. And what they liked about this whole experience from Starbucks was they found the experience interesting and they felt involved with the company's decision making in terms of the new product. 58% love it when brands go into new categories. This respondent loved it when their favourite chocolate bar was converted into a spread. 56% like new packaging design. They liked one respondent liked this quirky packaging and myriad of colours. Sorry, from this Bounce Energy Ball. And also they also liked new packaging formats. Walker's 56% said that they like the Walker's Tear and Share crisps. They like the different varieties of flavours, and it's easy to share with others. So it's about, with a focus on range rationalisation within the industry, with new product development pipeline, it's about backing fewer, more significant new product ideas. This may prove more effective with shoppers in future. So how else can you use your brand to actually stand out? Well, brands have a role to play in educating Post Millennials. More than 9 in 10, 93% want to know more about food and drink. There's a lack of confidence and knowledge in the kitchen amongst many of these Post Millennials. Women and students particularly most want to find out more. What do they want to find out about? Well, it's about having how to save money, it's about health in the diet, it's about recipes and what to cook, and it's about suggested meal plans. And they most want to find out about it online, through online videos, tutorials, product packaging, and social media. And they want to learn about an engaging way, and brands have a big role to play here. My final area is to really look at how to tailor strategies that meets the needs of Post Millennials when it comes to the role of online, digital, and stores of the future. So what will shopping look like in future? Well, 4 in 10 say that they predict a smartphone-focused cashless shopping environment. They really like the Amazon Go concepts, the ability to walk in, walk out without having to pay. It's all done on your smartphone. They like the time-saving benefit here. There were a few concerns about it being a bit Big Brotherish and the nature of being watched and being maybe a few accused of shoplifting, and job security for store staff was an issue. However, they felt that the benefits outweighed the negatives. But it does pose additional challenges. As shopping becomes more automated and efficient, shoppers will tend to spend less time in front of products or interacting with store staff. Therefore, it's about ensuring you develop new ways to engage with shoppers in store. Another thing they predict is that at the moment, 5% of them say they mainly do their shopping online. That's not too surprising given that they have lack of children. But in the future, in 30 years' time, 40% of them predict that they're going to be doing most of their shopping online. As one said, it's hard to imagine having normal physical stores like we have today in future. It'll be much more normal to have online grocery shopping delivered rather than going to the shops. Online grocery market is set to remain the fastest growing grocery sector over the next 5 years. We've got our channel forecast coming out about that, driven in part by our new market entrants such as Amazon. So are you investing to maximise the digital channel and online opportunity? Let's look at in-store. Shoppers are looking for meaningful experiences, inspiration from stores in the future. Something that was an area that was very popular was having digital screens to learn more about products. This is an example from Coop Italia supermarket of the future. They have large interactive tables, movement of the hand shows augmented information about the product on an overhead monitor. So consider about using these kind of screens to share meal and recipe suggestions, shopper reviews, relevant usage instructions, product heritage and quality credentials. When asked what, if anything, do you think will be different about food and grocery stores in 30 years' time, the top answer is having more healthy options. This is an image from health and wellness display at Robinsons supermarkets in Philippines. It's about demonstrating and enhance your health credentials on pack and at fixture to help drive greater shopper confidence in your product offering. And having more foods from around the world is also something 1825 see as being a key change in future. And having more personalisation is also key. This is an example from Coca-Cola, where shoppers can mix their own drink using an app on their smartphone and then get it by the machine. Also, finally, about what else they want. They like having more mission-based layouts. This is having saving time shopping, provides inspiration and good for offers, for example, meal deals. Slight concern about it taking products away from other aisles, but it's about exploiting cross-category merchandising to drive impulse opportunities, provide time-pressed shoppers with convenient solutions. Also having more franchise stores, it makes it more convenient shopping for them. So shopper marketing category plans should create more engaging retail destinations in larger format stores to help drive increased footfall into the channel. They also like having more specialist stores in future, having like fruit stores, meat stores, ethnic, healthy, vegetarian, particularly like the idea of this Hello Fresh store. And they also like the idea of interest in bars, restaurants and food courts in stores in future. With food service and particularly food to go becoming a stronger area of focus for grocery retailers, can any of your products cross over into the sector either directly or through being complementary products? So just to wrap up from me, it's about investing in product solutions and formats that help these shoppers save more time. It's about providing pre-cut, meal kits, on-the-go breakfast solutions, quick-to-prepare meals using pre-prepared and raw ingredients. It's also about, with post-millennials favouring brands, build that emotional connection through advertising, social media, packaging, design and in-store merchandising. Thirdly, look into bold new product types and formats to provide time-saving solutions for MPD and build interest and variety into grocery shopping. Fourth, with post-millennials more likely to shop for food for now and later, respond with product solutions that inspire them and help them to save time shopping and cooking. And finally, with these shoppers preferring to shop more in convenience stores, it's about flexing your product range by format to appeal more to these shoppers, address their concerns about shopping in larger stores, and try to think about the ideas that they've got for kind of what they want from stores in the future. Just one last slide, just to mark your date for your diary, which is the Category Management Shopper Marketing Summit, which is on the 27th and 28th of June. Tickets are selling out fast, so I really put that to you as a great conference to actually go to. I'll now pass you over to my colleague Vanessa, who's going to talk about digital.
Fantastic, thank you, Michael. And as Michael said, today I want to talk a bit about the impact of technology and digital solutions on the shopper, the grocery shopper path to purchase. So building a bit on what Michael has spoken about before, but to talk about how shoppers are currently using technology and how they want to use it more in the future. So I'm going to share some new research as well that we published on Shopper Vista a couple of months ago, share some of the key stats and findings from this research, and hopefully get you guys to start thinking about what this research could mean for your business and your role. Firstly, just to give you a bit of an idea about how we did this research, and we used a bit of a new approach to looking at how shoppers are using technology. We ran an online community, and for anybody who isn't familiar with online communities, I suppose they're really like running a focus group online. and we recruited shoppers based on their appetite for using technology, so shoppers that were engaged with using technology, and they used this online community as an online technology diary over a 2-week period. So it was a fantastic way to really get an understanding about how shoppers are using technology in general in their everyday lives, but also the levels of engagement in the food and grocery industry. And we also ran a short survey as well to validate some of these findings. Just to give you, I suppose, a bit of a snapshot of some of the main findings from this research. I guess the first one is around technology and the amount of technology that we're now using in our everyday lives. It's incredibly embedded in so many different parts of our lives, whether it's banking, shopping, using it for travel, etc. So shoppers are really engaged with using technology in their lives on a total basis. However, one of the biggest findings from this research was that engagement is actually a lot lower in the food and grocery industry compared to other industries. But, you know, on the flip side, and looking at the positive for this, there's huge potential for us as an industry to engage with shoppers more using technology and digital solutions in the future to really, I suppose, drive additional touch points to drive loyalty with shoppers. And as well, one of the big findings from this, or I suppose the third big takeout from this research, was really around putting shoppers' needs first. That was so important when we're thinking about investing in new technologies. If a new technology that you're investing in doesn't actually deliver against some fundamental shopper needs, it's not going to get the cut through. It's just going to become a gimmick, and it's not actually going to help shoppers with their food and grocery shopping. So as I said, just to start going through some of the research, you know, looking at a typical day in the life of a digital shopper or any of us, if you think about how you use technology and digital solutions from the moment you wake up. I know I do a lot of the time. As soon as I wake up, I check my phone, I'm checking my emails, etc. And throughout the day, we're using lots of different types of technologies, apps, and digital solutions to actually shop, check our banking, order taxis, etc. But again, as I said, what was interesting, and looking at this typical day, there wasn't a huge amount of engagement from food and grocery apps, or shoppers actually using food and grocery apps or solutions on a regular basis, but I'll talk a bit more about that later on. We got shoppers to classify their level of engagement, or I suppose adoption of using new technologies. And you can see here in some of the stats, nearly 4 in 10 shoppers actually consider themselves trailblazers with new technology. So 9% are these early adopters, so they like to be the very first to try new technologies and websites, etc. And 27% say they're early followers, so they'll start embracing new technologies as soon as they start coming across them. So a number of shoppers are actually already trailblazing to a certain extent, but you can see that the majority of shoppers, so nearly 60% of shoppers, are actually again a bit behind the curve in terms of adopting new technologies. So they consider themselves more late followers, or, you know, eventual adopters of technology. So I suppose it's important for us to be aware that not everybody, not every shopper that we want to engage with will want to do this that soon using technology. And some are actually a bit more you know, I suppose later to the game with engaging with technology. So important to be aware of that. And as I said, you know, engagement with digital and technology is behind the curve in the food and grocery industry. You can see here from some of the stats on the left-hand side, 83% of shoppers say they've bought some non-food item online in the last month. So a really high number of shoppers actually buying non-food items. And if you compare this to the number of shoppers who are buying food and groceries, around 40% of shoppers say that they've bought food and groceries in the last month. So there's still a long way to go to drive that engagement with buying groceries online. Some have said as well that, you know, 40% actually is quite a relatively high number, and it is to a certain degree. Within this figure as well, we include the number of shoppers who are using Amazon to buy food and groceries. So we know people who are using Amazon are likely to be buying or having smaller baskets and buying more health and beauty and more ambient products. As well, if you look at the number of shoppers who are actually researching online and then purchasing offline, a really high number of shoppers doing that when it comes to non-food, so nearly 3/4 of shoppers, but only 36% when it comes to food and groceries. So huge opportunity to drive engagement through these two routes, certainly in the future. What I've done with this research is to look at engagement and future interest from, I suppose, a kind of a basic shopper journey. So looking at the pre-shop phase, so when shoppers, before they've actually gone in store or gone online to do their shopping, what's actually top of mind. When it comes to store choice, so the next phase along the shopper journey, when people are choosing what store to go to or maybe what channel they're going to use as well. Then the shopping phase, so potentially when they're in store, again, when they're online, and then thinking about that post-shop phase. And what we find from this research is that the highest levels of current engagement is in that pre-shop phase. So before people actually go in store or actually get to your shelf, they're doing a lot of homework using digital tools before they actually start shopping. And then it seems to tail off to a certain extent as shoppers go through that shopper journey. I've put together a digital scorecard for each of these stages of the shopper journey, just to give you a bit of a snapshot into current levels of engagement within each phase, shoppers' future interest in using different tools, and then some of the tools or technologies which really only have niche appeal for the moment. So certainly within the pre-shop phase of the shopper journey, shoppers are already doing a lot of their homework, as I said. So they're looking for meal and recipe inspiration. They're looking, they're using online to check prices and promotions before they go in store. They're checking loyalty card points. And what they're interested in this phase in the future was all really around helping them plan their food and grocery shopping. So they're interested in automatic meal planners, apps that would give them inspiration for meals. They wanted to find out more information about diet and health. That's such an important topic at the moment, and also find out more information about products. Shoppers were also interested in smart kitchen devices. So I showed them some examples of the Samsung smart fridge, which allows shoppers to actually access photos and images of their fridge when they're away from the home via an app. Shoppers were really interested in this, but when it came to pricing, some of these appliances are really expensive. That was actually proving to be a bit of a barrier. When it came to niche appeal in the pre-shop phase, it was around, I suppose, irrelevant social media. So obviously lots of businesses are investing in social media strategies, which is important, but it's essential that we're thinking about targeting the right shoppers when we are investing in social media, and making sure it's really relevant to shoppers, not interrupting their kind of personal feeds with their friends and families on social media. So just to share some of the stats and to give you an idea about how many shoppers are actually engaging in the pre-shop phase, half of shoppers say that they're looking up recipes online on a regular basis before they actually go shopping. A number of shoppers, similar number, looking up prices and offers. So shoppers still really focused on savvy shopping, so looking up prices of products or where the best offers are is still very popular. People logging onto loyalty cards, researching nutritional information, and also to a lesser extent reading food and grocery reviews before they actually go shopping. But a high number of shoppers actually engaging with brands and companies, retailers and manufacturers on a regular basis before they actually go shopping. This is just some data Tesco shared with us recently about their website, and they say in a typical week 5 million people visit their grocery website. However, only 1 million of those people who visit the site actually follow through and shop online with them, do a grocery shop online. So there's hundreds and thousands of shoppers and customers who are actually going onto the Tesco website, not necessarily to buy their groceries online, but to find out more information. So really important that you are thinking about investing in the right information with the likes of Tesco and other online grocers to ensure people have access to your brands and products online when they're doing this research. Just to move on to the channel and store choice phase of the shopper journey. Current levels of engagement, the kind of higher levels of engagement within this phase was all around online shopping and using home delivery in particular. We see some shoppers using click and collect, but it's a bit limited compared to home delivery. Some shoppers price checking as well to help them make store choice decisions. In terms of future interest, shoppers are interested, more shoppers and those shoppers who aren't actually using online, in actually shopping online with grocers in the future. Some shoppers interested in automated subscriptions, particularly for products they use on a frequent basis. Other shoppers naming single deliveries from multiple retailers, so allowing them to actually shop across a number of different retailers but getting one delivery to their home. More niche appeal for the likes of robot and drone deliveries and voice activated ordering, but I'll share a few more stats about that in the next few slides. In terms of online, and just to talk a bit more about online in general and to talk about some of the key drivers of online growth, we know that technology and I suppose the investment in technology that retailers are making in their online platforms and their different ways of getting groceries to shoppers is really helping to drive interest in using online grocery shopping. Convenience, you know, Michael has spoken a lot about particularly the younger generation looking for more convenient ways to shop, and absolutely from a broader shopper base, and the main reason shoppers are choosing to shop online is because it's more convenient than going in store. Loyalty as well is driving interest in using online, so we've seen a growing number of shoppers who are actually subscribing to online delivery saver passes as well, which is helping retailers to lock in loyalty. And also improved user experiences, both from the front end, so websites, so a lot of the retailers have invested in improving their websites in recent years, but also in terms of the back end availability of products and improving substitutions. That's one of the big barriers as well of using online, is this perception that shoppers won't actually get full orders, but retailers have really invested in improving the accuracy of their orders over the last few years. Just to give you an idea about some of the figures that shoppers have actually shared with us in terms of using online in the future, 60% of all British grocery shoppers say in the next 2 to 3 years that it's likely they'll be shopping online for their groceries and getting them delivered to their chosen address or to their home address. What's interesting though is a similar number, 50%, say that it's likely that they'll be shopping online, but to buy more ambient products and stock up products, and they'll still actually be going in store to buy fresh items. And as I said, fresh is still one of the biggest barriers to actually going online. So really important that we're still considering omni-channel strategies, that we're not just thinking that online is necessarily going to be the future. Stores are certainly going to play a really important part in shoppers' multi-channel mix and omni-channel mix in the future. In terms of thinking about some more alternative last mile solutions, so how we get products to shoppers in a different way versus kind of home delivery or click and collect, around a quarter of shoppers say that they're interested in using subscription services. That was very much around products that shoppers know their consumption levels of, so they know maybe they use one of these products every day, so they won't actually over or under stock. So I think for some categories this could be relevant. Around a fifth of shoppers, which is quite interesting, say that they're interested in using drones and robots and these kind of automated unattended vehicles to do some of their deliveries in the future. But again, it was quite category specific, and there were some issues in terms of security as well, and how shoppers would actually get their products securely with some of these vehicles. And finally, a fifth say that they're interested in using I suppose these kind of community lockers, so unattended but secure refrigerated lockers near their home to actually get their food and groceries. So they could actually buy online and get it delivered to a community hub or somewhere near their home that they could actually pick up their products from. Because for them, that's the ultimate convenience, because they don't have to wait at home or go to the store to pick up from a click and collect point. Just to give you some examples, a couple of the online health and beauty pure play retailers are doing some really interesting things around innovative online options for shoppers. You can see here an example here that allows shoppers to actually subscribe to certain brands on a regular basis, so they can buy it monthly, 2 months, every 3 months, or 4 months. So it's a really interesting way for brands to start locking in loyalty to their brands via online. Thinking about channels of the future then, 28% of shoppers, all British grocery shoppers, say that they're actually interested in using voice-activated devices in the future to actually order their food and groceries. So this is the likes of Amazon Alexa and also Google Home. Recently, we've seen a partnership with Mondelez and Amazon actually investing in Amazon Alexa and investing in Alexa Skill, where shoppers can actually, or people who have an Alexa, can actually talk to Alexa and use recipes that Alexa gives out to make products using Philadelphia. And also there's an option to add to basket as well, so really kind of joined up approach that Mondelez is taking with Amazon. And you know, for a lot of, I suppose in some sense, for a lot of shoppers, this is still very much niche. Some of these technologies still, the idea that they're more expensive is a bit of a barrier to buying these. But certainly it's interesting to see that brands are starting to invest and dip their toe in the water with some of these new channels of the future. Just to talk a little bit about levels of engagement in the shopping phase. So this is, I suppose, where we saw quite a low level of current engagement, or basic level of engagement with technology and digital solutions. Shoppers using maybe price comparison in store via their mobile when they're going around food and grocery stores, some using handheld scanners, some using cashless payments as well. But what was interesting was in this research is there's actually quite a high level of interest in using technology when shoppers are actually going around in store. So for instance, around location-based and personalised offers, and the likes, as Michael has spoken about scan and go mobile apps to allow people to get in and out of store really quickly. So just to share quickly some stats about the level of appetite of shoppers using technology when they are going around in store. Around 44% interested in using or being alerted to different offers in different parts of the store, or when they're near certain parts of the store. And also quite a high level of number of shoppers interested in using touch screens and that kind of innovation around payment technology as well. So just to think about shoppers, you know, they could actually be a step ahead of us in terms of the industry. I just put together here on the left-hand side of the screen a word cloud where I got shoppers to describe what life would be like in 50 years' time. And it's just really interesting to see some of the words and phrases and terminology that they're actually using to describe life. So they're actually predicting quite a futuristic future. And in terms of using technology in food and grocery shopping, again, a really high level of shoppers interested in using technology when there are food and grocery shopping. As I spoke at the beginning, it's really important that we're thinking about delivering against basic needs before we're investing in certain technologies. So some of these fundamental shopper needs need to be met when we are using new technologies. So inspire shoppers, entertain them, save them money, educate them, help them decide and make shopping quick and easy. So I suppose some questions to ask yourself before you actually thinking of investing in new technologies. You know, what behavior you're trying to drive with this new technology, what impact will it have, is it actually relevant to your shoppers, and how will it actually benefit your shoppers, and again thinking about some of those fundamental shopper needs. So finally, just to take you through some summary points from my presentation, I suppose, don't get left behind. It's really important that you're thinking about investing in the capability to capitalize on some of these opportunities as they arise and if they're actually appropriate to your business. There are definitely some quick wins to engage with shoppers, particularly in that short or that pre-shop phase. Again, thinking about online, Michael spoke about it growing the fastest part of the market over the next few years, so really important that we're thinking about online. It's sometimes difficult for shoppers to actually envisage how brand new technologies will actually help them, so I think this is where it's really important to engage in a test and learn model to gauge interest early on. And as I said, technology or no technology, it's really important that we're thinking about delivering against this basic set of shopper needs when we are investing in technology. That's all from me. We're going to do some questions now, I believe. So I know we've got a number of questions that have just come through. Michael, I'm going to ask you a couple. You say post-millennials really value brands. However, does this square with their focus on finding value for money? Do they not feel that brands are more expensive than own label?
Well, that's a good question. They do value brands quite a lot, but what they see is they basically see that actually for them, obviously price is important, but brands for them equals better value for money. So overall, they're kind of looking for, they're kind of seeing all those key unique selling points in the brands to help drive their purchase decisions. So that's why they justify buying the brand, even if they sometimes are paying a little bit more for the offer. We've had a kind of a similar question actually about that. Someone asking me, talking about how important it is for post-millennials to have trusted brands and NPD from them. They like shopping convenience stores where range rationalisation is key and own label is retailer's priority. Is there a place for own label here in the future, and how will NPD fit in on these fixtures with brand favourites? Well, I think similarly there is definitely a role for private label because we know that some of the post-millennials that we're speaking to are buying it. They're generally preferring brands for particular categories. But I think it's for own label. It's really about needing to work harder on this, to really focus on the areas of innovation that really matter to them, the conveyor of taste, format, packaging, and time-saving solutions for them. So that's going to be key. Well, we've now got a question for Vanessa. So, what are shoppers' attitudes to ordering fresh products online compared to 2 to 3 years ago? How has this changed?
Thanks, Michael. And just to clarify, I saw there was a question about where my data or what my data related to. It's to all shoppers. It wasn't just post-millennial or younger shoppers. So just to give you that clarification. So yeah, it's really interesting around fresh and to talk about fresh online, and it is still one of the biggest barriers, as I said, to online shopping. When we ask shoppers what categories they actually prefer to buy in store versus online, it's very much around fresh produce, fresh meat, and fish. So I think in some ways it has eased a bit in terms of shoppers' concerns over the last few years. The retailers have really invested in their offering, I suppose, in terms of improving use-by dates, availability of fresh, but also investing in fresh guarantees where they can guarantee freshness of products for a certain number of days. So I think the retailers are doing quite a lot to reassure shoppers, but it does still pose an issue for some shoppers. I suppose just going back to some of the data that I shared earlier, I think for some shoppers in the future, they will be shopping online, but it will be for certain categories, and maybe it will be more ambient categories, but still going in store to buy fresh produce on a regular basis. And again, I think that just really demonstrates the importance of investing in an omni-channel strategy to ensure that your brands are available where shoppers are shopping, whether it's online or actually going into convenience stores as well.
It makes sense.
So yes, actually I've just seen, and Michael has just shared another question that's just come in, that will shoppers be actually using convenience stores in conjunction with the online compared to a traditional supermarket? And I think yes, I think a high number of shoppers use both convenience stores and supermarkets to do that kind of top-up shop in between their online shops. No shopper uses online purely for their food and grocery shopping, and I suppose no shopper really uses any channel to do the majority of the shopping. We're using a number of different channels. We're using on average about 5 different channels per month to do our food and grocery shopping. But I certainly think that in terms of combinations, shopping online and using convenience to top up is a popular way for shoppers to actually shop online. So I think, Michael, you've had some other questions that have come through. With more 18 to 25-year-olds having to live with their parents, how is that affecting their grocery shopping? Isn't most of that actually done with their parents?
Okay, thanks for that one. We've had, for our research, it's amazing how many respondents actually, even though they're living with their parents, are still, they have their own budget. They'll be buying their own stuff. They have their own preferences, so they'll be going out. And the nature of shopping now is that it's not just about the main shop. And for a lot of shoppers, it's about top-up shopping. It's about getting the food to go purchase. So looking at that is a bit of an outdated way of looking at shopping. You know, going in and getting something for an evening meal is something that they'll potentially go and do on their way back from work. And also a lot of shoppers, you know, a lot of this group, some of this group as well, they're living away at university, studying away. So it's about having responsibility for their own budgets, for their own food and grocery shopping, which is absolutely key. I've also had another question in which is about will not the behaviours of post-millennials change when they have children? Therefore, how good a prediction is this research of future behaviour? It's a good question. I think the answer to that is that yes, some will change in terms of, yes, they're going to have children, and you know, certainly they will be potentially going into larger stores, for example, when they do that. But I think the direction of travel here is cemented. They're going to pass on a lot of these preferences to a wider network going down the line. So it shows that, for example, larger stores are going to find it more challenging to get more of these shoppers to do, you know, and spend as much in the larger stores compared to the generations previously. So I think it's understanding those trends that they're going to stay with them. They're not going to desert convenience stores. They're going to go in them a lot. So I think these are the areas which we find. So I think what we're going to do now is, I think we've had quite a few questions. I think we're going to call it a day for that one. So I just want to say thank you very much for taking part.